how would you make the argument to raise capital internally at a company to maybe pursue a project that you are thrilled about or excited about and kind of innovate inside of a company? Anybody want to take a shot at that? Come on, Troy.
So,
some of the same things apply.
Can I comment on the previous one first?
Yes.
In all seriousness, I'm gonna jump on that.
Yep.
So I thought Bailey said two really important things. That one is think about your alternatives for capital. The best kind of capital is customer capital, right? Customer revenue to grow your business is by far the best thing you can possibly do, right? It's non-dilutive. It makes you more attractive to the investors. So think about that, number one. Number two is she talked about relationships. Investors don't invest in a point, they invest in a line. They want to see you here, and then here, and then here, and say, wow, that's a great trajectory. I want to invest in that trajectory. The only way you make that happen is by getting to know them early. Don't go in and ask for money, go in and ask for advice. Build a relationship, and then they'll come to you when they see the progress that you're making, when you're going up and to the right, and they'll want to invest in you. So I think that's really important. With regard to doing stuff inside of large organizations, it's clearly not my strength. I'm an entrepreneur, not an intrapreneur. But I have helped some people, and it's really the same process. You're making a case that you're going to build a business or a business unit that's going to be profitable over time. You use the same tools. You have a financial model. You have capital requirements. You have revenue. You can use the lean startup method and say, okay, here are the risks. I've got 20 risks. I've rank ordered them. Here's the biggest, the next. I got to prove this isn't a risk, prove this isn't a risk. Each time you de-risk the business a little bit, you put a little more into it, whether that's actual dollars, capital, or people. And most of those businesses, depending on their culture, but most of those businesses will say, wow, this is a big opportunity. And they're better suited to launch them than a startup because they already have built in a market. They already have distribution, they already have capital, and they can do it better than a startup can. So with the right opportunities, if you position it properly, use the tools, use the metrics, you should be able to convince management that this is a good thing, get capital to back it, and it's really the same process.
Well said.
I mean, I'm going through that right now with Wintrust Ventures, right? This was an idea a year ago, and we ran Skinny. We were our own little startup. Yeah, we have a very nice balance sheet, but I was employee number one for the first 9 months, and we just grew 100% with our employee number two. You know, you have to take a lot of time and a lot of effort and prove, especially because I'm young, really plan the business and have monthly updates or weekly updates. I said that our portfolio would be here, and we're actually there. We're ahead of it. And this is how we're going to make money on the short term and on the long term. And, you know, it's been fun, but it's hard because, you know, if you're a founder and you have a startup, you can close up shop anytime and then go work at a consulting company. I've got a board of directors that I got to report to. So it's helpful in some ways and a hindrance in some ways.
It's funny, though, to Troy's point here, fundraising is very simple, whether it's internally or to a VC. So the analogy I've used over and over and over again ad nauseum is no difference in many ways between fundraising and making a startup and making a movie, right? It's just the difference is one's a script, one's a business plan, one's a director, one's a CEO, one's leading actors and actresses, the other are CMOs, CTOs, etc. But at the end of the day, what VCs or people who are inside of Wintrust or whatever are doing is they sit at their desk, equivalent to when you were at the beginning of a movie and you see the 10 previews, right? And at some point, one of those previews, you elbow the person next to you and say, we got to see that movie, right? What happens? There's a narrative, there's a story, there's drama. It's been put together in such a way that you lean into it, right? It resonates with something that's very emotional in you, right? Well, that's exactly what happens in venture. Everyone will tell you big markets and proven entrepreneurs and domain expertise and good economics and all this other stuff. But that's, at the end of the day, what it is. And I'll give you an example. I'm sitting at my desk. Someone comes in to me and says, we have this incredible company. It has great customer acquisition metrics. It's very low. They're there forever. We're ramping at 100% year on year. So, we sell baby products. It's the best thing in the world. Yeah, okay, look, so now you got me intellectually thinking, okay, what do the numbers look like? Then I'll tell you about one of our companies. By the way, you can tell it's not me telling the story very quickly in this one, but the CEO or the entrepreneur. So I'm in the emergency room, or I'm in the delivery room, and I have them draw my blood core for toxins. And I noticed there's 66 toxins in my blood cord, even though I had private chefs and trainers and everything along those lines. And I realized, pause, dramatic moment, I just poisoned my child. And I vowed at that moment, my purpose in life was to make certain that no mother in the world would have to do the exact same thing I've gone through. And I would strip 1,800 chemicals with Christopher, blah, 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 in all of our products. That's the origin story, which is very powerful for Honest Company. And that was Jessica Alba, right? Which of those two did you lean into, right? You saw it. You were literally, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but how many of you literally visualized being in the delivery room, right? Literally the blood cord, the shock, the poison, the emotion, the, oh my God, this is an outrage. I want to be part of this story, right? That is why with almost, they've gone almost purely organic from 0 to 300 million in 3 years in revenue. People want to give them money. We just raised it $1.7 billion after 3 years in existence. She's on the cover of Forbes now. It's like, that is how fundraising's done. It is literally a Steven Spielberg story at the end of the day.